Hello everybody, More here, and thank you for joining me on my channel today. Today I'm going to do a guide and champion spotlight on a Magic Affinity Rare Champion named Mark. She's a barbarian champion. She's a support style champion. She is the one on the far right over there. She's a barbarian female, and her job in this boss, in this run right here, which is probably her entire primary role in almost any content you're ever going to find her in, she has a defense up, AoE defense up, and an AoE block debuffs buff. That is awesome and amazing coming from a rare champion. Not just the fact that she has a defense up, AoE defense up, but she has a 60%. That's the big version of the defense up as well. And she can put it on the entire team. The only kicker, the only problem with it is the fact that it's on a 6-turn cooldown. However, she's a rare. Rares are easy to book when it comes down to it. Rares are easy to book, so you can book her up, and that reduces down from a 6-turn to a 3-turn cooldown. So let's get in. Let's check her kit real quick for you guys, and you can see what she's got going on. Come here, Mark. My Mark is only level 40. She's only a 4-star, level 40 barbarian, and you saw she just handles her own in that keep. Granted, she had some other good support to go with her, another big part of the team. So she's just one wheel, one cog in the team, right? Just like every other team you make in the game. It's all about the synergy and the way that your team works together. It's not about one person just running it all-star, wang bang, taking care of everything, right? It's synergy. Her synergy is the fact that she brings certain kits, certain skills to the game, to the content, to the team, right? Her A1 here attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a 30% defense down, same thing, right? So her A1, it's handy, it's helpful, it's a 30%, it's the low version of the defense down debuff, and it's not too bad. If you book her up, you can go from 30 to 80% chance. Her attack is only hits one target, so it's only a one-hit A1, so it's only one 80% chance when it's fully booked. But hey, that defense down can mean the name could make or break a run, right? Especially against the boss. Her A2 attacks all enemies, places a 25% decreased accuracy debuff for 2 turns. Places. There's not a chance to place. Just says places, right? So that means they 100% chance to place that decreased accuracy debuff, assuming her accuracy roll checks against the resistance. This is also, I believe, the small version of the decreased accuracy. You can have up to 50% chance as well. It also, if you book her up, decreases her cooldown from 4 to 3 turns and increases her damage. This is not why she's a nice rare. Her big kit, her big part of the kit is this A3 right here. Places a block debuffs buff on all allies for 1 turn, and a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. That 60% defense is the big defense buff. It's the big version of that buff, right? And it places on every single person on your team. So the entire team gets this buff. She also happens to have an aura in the faction wow, I can't even talk. In the faction Crypts, a 15% increase to ally defense. So she is a support champion, right? Even says it right there. Plarium has declared her and classified her as a support champion. Her kit just screams support, right? My Marked, no scrolls. It's not entirely very well invested into. I use her in the Void Affinity Potion Keep, which is what you just saw. I'll take her back in there again so you can see her one more time in actual gameplay. And that's where I focus her on. You can utilize her in a lot of different contents and aspects of the game if you need that defense up buff to help increase the durability and the survivability of your team. She can be used in a lot of content overall, in Clan Boss and in the other dungeons as well, because she has that defense up. She has that block debuffs as well, which can be helpful in other aspects as well. The Void Affinity Boss is not the only keep that applies debuffs against you. The Dragon does as well, applies a lot of debuffs against you. She can be helpful there as well. So consider her when you're trying to get through certain stages or content of the game. She can make it, she can get you through. She might be just a little bit, you need to squeeze out just a little bit of durability and survivability. Her stats. What I use her for is primarily that buff, right? So the defense up and the block damage. Sorry, the block debuffs. So her HP, she's only a 4-star, right? But her HP is at 21,500. I want her to survive. She needs survivability. She needs to be able to survive through the rounds so that she can come back around and cast her buffs. Her defense is at 800. Her attack is 731, right? So her two damage dealing skills are based on attack. I could really care less. Her job is not there to deal damage. Her job is there to buff my team. That's why she's there. Speed is at 139 for a 4-star. That's not entirely too bad at all. I want her to cycle back through as fast as she can so she can get through her cooldowns, especially since there's no books, so she can apply those buffs again. Her crit rate's 32, her crit damage 58. Again, I don't care if she does damage or not. Her resistance 38, it's whatever. Her accuracy's only 58. Again, I don't want her necessarily applying her debuffs. She is there for her buffs. Now look at this. I've gotten lucky on some nice little stat rolls, right? She's got a speed of plus 44 to go with her 95 speed. Her boots are HP flat stat boots. They are not even speed boots. Like I said, I have not invested in her entirely a whole lot. I might be able to switch this around, put some speed boots on her, and get her up pretty high instead of 139 to like the 170 range. She can cycle back through faster. I can put some books in her, improve her overall. I will end up doing that so I can do another guide for you guys so you can see her fully taken care of, fully booked up, fully invested in, at least at 5-star. I may not ever take her to 6-star, but that's okay. I want you to see what she can do as a rare on the lower end so that you can apply her and put her into your team if you think she'll fit into your team and help you with your content. Because again, this is all about trying to progress your accounts. So now if you guys are liking this content and you want to have more help improving your accounts for your account, forget efficiently and effectively progression, then don't forget, you guys, there's a button right here next to my face. Click that button, subscribe, get into the community, get more content from me as we go future in this and do this together. So let's get into this Void Affinity keep, right? This is stage 15 keep for you. I'm going to show you, she just applied that defense up. They create a monster. He's just a beast. He's just a tank. Shields everywhere for days, which is awesome. But I want to show you that her job is to apply those two buffs, the defense up and the block debuffs buff, primarily against the boss. The only thing that would make her better is if that skill cleansed off debuffs first before it applied that block debuffs buff. Unfortunately, it doesn't, because this boss here, the Void Affinity boss, his primary kit that he brings against you to fight you is a ton of debuffs. Boom, there's 2 poisons across the table. Reminds me of a Bad Alcazar, right? So 2 buffs against you. I think he's also going to bring some more debuffs against us. He also did Seer effect, remove buffs, debuffs, and dealt us damage based on the debuffs he pulled off. So it's one reason why you want to block those debuffs, right? So we just put the block debuff buff up. However, we're cycling through our turns. Let's see if it actually works. We cycled back through. Unfortunately, we took off all of the block buff debuffs off before we could block any debuffs. That was a tongue twister. That was a mouthful. So marked, she can be very useful, very helpful for you in every aspect, or a lot of different aspects of the game. I use her in the Void Affinity Keep. She is very helpful in the Void Affinity Keep because the Void Affinity Keep focuses on applying poisons and debuffs against you. Her job is to prevent those from landing. Her job is to prevent those from actually locking on and hitting you, so you don't have to use resistance to prevent them, right? She also brings a defense up, the big version of the defense up, so that you guys can stay alive when those bosses come and hit you with the AoE damage. She can be helpful in the Void Keep, in the Dragon Keep, in the Clan Boss. She can be helpful in a lot of aspects of the game, even in the Spider Keep as well, because the Spider's got all those poisons from the Spiderlings that she comes against you and brings against you and fights against you. And marked, she can prevent those. She can block those, and she can give you that defense up. Thank you for joining me through the video, you guys. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button that's right there above my head, as well as check out the video or the playlist that's going to be on the other side of the screen. check out more content. Check out the other champion guide and see if you could learn something or see something that you didn't realize about your champions as you're trying to progress your account. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you on the next video.